So those 5 down linemen and the quarterback is 6. You now have 5 people you can to help you move the ball down the field. So that's wide receivers, which you can run a 0 wide to 5 wide set, basically. The most you can have at any of those positions is 5. And you can't have 5 tight ends. You can line everybody up close, but the only one that's allowed to, well, I forget what they call it, register with the official, or there's a word for it of checking in and declaring what position you are. Your number also has to do with that. All of them are kind of, the different positions are mostly have numbers that tend in the same, in the same 10 numbers. So, the same 2-digit family, I guess you could say.
Customer reminder. Proof of payment is required whenever you are
the tight end is usually a big guy that's like an additional blocker. So you can imagine you're trying to move the ball down the field. You might want to do it passing, you might want to do it running. If you're doing it running with all the big guys on the other side that might be fast, that you probably have someone really big and even slow, but really big, hard to get around and hard to run around. If they're about 340 and you're like 180, you know? It like takes you like 4 steps to get around them. It's not like you could just run past them, you know? Then you got a big 280 guy or 300-pound guy you're running behind. So that's 5 people. So there's the tight end, which can also, doesn't have to be right on the end, but there are rules about the procedure on the snap. Motion before the snap, there's different procedures about it. But the snap, the quarterback takes the ball, or they could snap it to someone else, like the punter. They could snap it to the running back directly. They could have the wide receiver start running before the play starts and be running behind the quarterback, or act like he's going to run behind the quarterback be in a shotgun, like behind, like for him to throw it long, and the guy jump in front and catch him and start running.
Please hold on.
But there's a lot of science to it. There really is, because you have the defense side. To me, is really interesting, really, really interesting, because these guys are all really fast, really fast, and you gotta like stop them from doing what they want, you know, quote unquote. You know, it's a game or whatever. But anyway, without mixing it in, that's why I want to talk about offense, so it doesn't turn into some kind of de facto commentary like. But offense, so wide receivers, I was talking about this earlier. There's like you have guys who are fast, then you have possession guys who might not be fast, but you throw it near them and they're gonna hold on to it. Which a lot of times, with as fast as these people are, you have to what's called take what they give you. So they call it shortening the field. And you can apply that on both sides of the ball. But I guess what they do with young quarterbacks and stuff like that is you want to, especially because the speed that you're dealing with as you change levels in from college to pro, is the speed of the game supposedly. I never played professional football. But so they start a lot of young quarterbacks with short completions, running short patterns, and gaining that confidence in the reps of completing passes downfield and moving the team forward, but also having simple things to do at this speed with all these people trying to take your head off. So then there's wide receivers. They run long, they'll be fast or have good hands, or if they have both, then they're really good, especially if they're tall. Then if they can jump, then they're really, 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 really good. And what else? And then running backs is really interesting. You can have different kind of sets. You can have no people back there if you need to gain a lot of yards, and so that you have them all up front with just the quarterback. But if you do that, you don't have that insurance policy of a running back who doesn't run out when the quarterback has the ball, and he could block beyond the 5 down linemen that you're required to send out on a play to snap the ball.
Please hold
So,
on.
How's that fun?
so you can run a play with 0 wide receivers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if your offense tends towards a certain grouping, or if your roster has you putting out sort of the same 11 people, that will often get called a style of offense. So if you're always running 4 wide receiver sets, there's been ones like the run and gun that the Houston Oilers used to do, that they do a lot on the college level in Florida, Miami. This guy is Steve Spurrier. If you want to look that guy up, got famous, but a lot of kids, succeeded under that run and gun system in Miami. Teaching kids that, famous teaching that system to kids. And the offense has had a lot of success, and the teams too, and the school. Geez, so that's like a 4 set. 4 wide. If you have 4 or 5 fast guys that could catch, you have a quarterback, you might not have a great running back, that sort of situation. Or you're just an offense that you like to gain the yards in chunks, like you have that advantage. That's where your strength is, Then you might have two backfield. Very common set. The pro set, the halfback, and the fullback, where you have 2 guys behind the quarterback, and he could hand it off to 2 guys. He could fake to one guy and hand off to the other, or he could hand off to one and the other guy blocks for him. Then beyond that, of course, the down linemen, once they come up, they could run different little plays that they have. The pull is a famous one. This is a little more advanced football, but it's stuff that you can see and they talk about it. And if you listen while they're talking about it, I'm sure there's plenty of households where the wife actually knows more than the guy because the guy is too busy yelling and already has an opinion. Meanwhile, the lady listens to the announcers on the TV. I listen to the announcers on the TV, like to understand shit or appreciate what the hell these people are doing out there. Like, but if you're like 280 and you could fucking pop up, like you're gonna like lock arms with this guy and instead fucking dart off and run in front of a guy that could run as fast as Barry Sanders or some shit, then your feet are good. Even if you definitely can't run as fast as Barry Sanders, then you are a fucking professional with really fucking good feet, at a fucking huge size, So that's like people make a big deal out of Michael Jackson, Anyway, like,
Mission and 14.
but so that's a fullback and a halfback. The tight end is often blocking, and as speed has grown with everybody and become more equal or more parity, I guess, in speed, or everybody, started training and all the things are helped. Food got better and stuff. Those people start to develop more abilities like pass catching, and the team will have more versatility if the person can not just block at the tight end position, helping out on whatever side you want to run to, or whatever side is the quarterback's blind side, or because it might be a lefty, it might be a righty. So if it's a righty, then the guy over his shoulder. This is why the left tackle position they pay the guy a lot, is because he's the guy for a right-handed quarterback that is the blind side, like the movies, So, but if it's a lefty, it's not the right tackle. Might be one of the highest paid people on the team a lot of times.
Please exit to the rear door.
But it's also what side you're running to. It's also the kind of distractions they do. They call it overloading or stacking a line, So you could put 10 of your guys more. If you have 3 wide receivers on the right side, and you put the tight end on that side, and then you have 1 halfback behind you, you could have the whole defense going that way and shoot it off to the halfback, or you could run with the quarterback you could run and have the halfback block for him. Or you cross one of those guys over, or you do motion before and the guy comes around, and then you have one person, that's anyway, like a little about football, like
Please hold on.
offense. And then but it's just like about education, because the more talented personnel you have, and the more like personnel with multiple talents, the greater versatility and the more unstoppable you become. Basically, you can do what you want to. You can just play your football like. You can just have fun and win. Like. So that's where those intangibles of the quarterback position, of leadership, of experience, of units that work together, of leadership at specific positions being so important for like the growth of teams and stuff. And I know I'm going down to Excelsior again. That also connects things, I guess. But what you gonna call it? There's now 11 days doing that.